Tuesday, April the 9th, mornings with Marcel and Friends with special guest Ben Maller is next. So, stand by for that. Good morning, everyone, and welcome into this another brand Tuesday show. And of course, Ben Maller from Fox Sports Radio will be joining me in a matter of moments to discussing the latest in 30 straight minutes of all the sports highlights, all those great stuff. So, feel free to join as well to be here as to coming at you. So, bear with me, folks. Sorry about the burps. I ate cereal this morning. Frosted Flakes is not just once, but my favorites. Guess what this is? Yes. Thank you so much for joining me here for the next 30 minutes. Ben Maller will be joining me in a matter of moments. We got the verse of the day coming up. But first, this morning's installment of your Tuesdays 5 things, and I will have this amazing sound bite from my Spreaker studio where I just downloaded here on my laptop. My tablet is not being storage anytime soon. Oh, no, don't lie. This is going to be perfect. So, here we go. It will be a bit of a wait until next whole solar eclipse if you missed out on yesterday's spectacular show, but just how long depends on how far you're willing to travel. Several upcoming total solar eclipses will pass through popular tourist destinations, including one over Egypt's pyramids in 2027. Alright, let's get right to it. The news you need to know, always straight from the top, to get you up to speed and on with your day before. Ben Maller will be joining me as well. Former President Donald Trump's New York hush money trial is set to begin with jury selection next Monday, despite multiple attempts by his lawyers to push back all of his trials until after the election this year. Trump's attorneys on yesterday urged an appeals court here in the Big Apple and the Empire State to postpone the trial start date so it could consider whether to change the venue, arguing that the former president cannot get a fair jury here, but the courts denied the request. Separately, special counsel Jack Smith urged the Supreme Court to reject Trump's claims of sweeping immunity and to deny the former president any opportunity to delay another trial on charges that he attempted to subvert the results of the election in the pandemic year 2020. And the Supreme Court will hear arguments on the 25th, along with in July, the decision definitely expected. All right, let's go straight to weather and to southern storms. More than 30 million people from Texas to western Mississippi are at risk for severe weather today, less than a week after a powerful storm system swept through the region and killed at least 3 people. According to the Storm Prediction Center, several tornadoes, a couple of which should be strong, significant large hail, and damaging winds definitely are expected. About 9 million people in parts of eastern Texas and western Louisiana had an enhanced or level 3 or 5 risk of severe weather early today. That includes Houston and Austin. However, the most significant storm threat could come tomorrow when the threat of severe storms, a level of 4 of 5 stretches from Louisiana's eastern to Alabama's western from the Perdition Center. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the timing for a ground offensive in Rafah, where about 1.5 million Palestinians are sheltering, has been set, but did not reveal the date. He also said that entry into the city was necessary for a complete victory over Hamas. After the announcement, State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said Israel had not briefed the U.S. on the Rafah invasion's timing and retaliated that the U.S. believes a ground offensive would have an enormously harmful effect on civilians, and that it would automatically hurt Israel's security, in quote. Meanwhile, a UN committee said it will review whether or not Palestinians will be granted for state member status in the UN this month. Status in November 2012, the Palestinian mission to the UN was granted, not member, observer state. 2 more to go, then the verse of the day, and then Ben Maller will be joining me. James and Jennifer Crumley, the parents of a teenager who killed 4 students in a school shooting in Oxford, Michigan back in 2021, are set to be sentenced on manslaughter charges today. They each face up to 15 years in prison. The sentencing represents the end of the traumatic saga that has set a predict of who can be held responsible for a mass shooting, aside from a perpetrator or predator. Now, both parents were found guilty in separate trials this year for allowing their 15-year-old son to have a gun and ignoring signs of his frailing mental health. It was the first time the parents of a school shooter have been charged with such serious crimes, even though they did not pull the trigger. And last but not least, Tesla has settled a high-profile case that was set to put the electric car company on the trial this week. Jury selection was set to begin yesterday in a wrongful death suit filed by the family of a former Apple engineer who died in 2018 after his Tesla Model X crashed while the autopilot featured was engaged. The NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board, found that autopilot was engaged for nearly 19 minutes before the Tesla traveling at 71 miles per hour veered off the highway. The trial could have lasted several weeks, but the parties settled on undisclosed terms. Meanwhile, CEO Elon Musk maintains that Tesla's controversial automatic driving system is ahead of the competition. He also recently announced that Tesla will unveil a robo-taxi on August the 8th, though details remain scant. Alright, Tuesday morning, and this just in, an international court in France has ruled Switzerland's failure to adequately tackle the climate crisis in violation of human rights. A landmark climate change judgment, or should I say this, ladies and gentlemen, a landmark climate judgment that experts say could have a ripple effect across the globe. The European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg delivered its ruling on a case brought by more than 2,000 older Swiss women against Switzerland. He argued that climate change fueled heat waves, undermined their health and quality of life, and put them at risk of dying. It's the first time the court has ruled on climate litigation. Alright, that's the 5 things, and it's just in. Breakfast Browse, UConn won. First back-to-back men's NCAA basketball titles since 2007. Morgan Rowland arrested in Nashville on facing felony charges after allegedly throwing a chair from a rooftop bar. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz joins TikTok. Movie theaters are getting creative to appeal to audiences. And toss it or washed, household items that love to harbor bacteria. 260. That's today's number on pilot Spirit Airlines intends to furlough this fall as the low-cost carrier looks to save cash. And Hudson Taylor, founder of Athlete Ally, an organization that works to eliminate transphobia and homophobia in sports, remarks on yesterday came after the National Association of Intercollege League Athletes, or NAIA, effectively banned transgender women for its women's sports programs. It governs intercollege league athletes for more than 83,000 student athletes, according to its website. We hope other sports governing bodies don't also succumb to political pressure and instead fight for a future of sports where everyone belongs. Phew. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is your Tuesday's Bible, 5 things. Back next Tuesday for more. And for the news you need to know right from the top, make sure you subscribe to the Morning News Headlines podcast on the Spreaker app or wherever you get your podcasts. And I guarantee it, the way it is to start your day. Coming soon, my podcast on right here on YouTube. So, look forward to that. 11 past the hour. Ben Mallow will be joining me in a few moments. But first, what is the verse of the day? Well, let's listen to Phil Weir and find things out.
Verse of the day for April 9th. It comes from Philippians 4:9. Paul shares with the Philippians, whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. I'm Phil Weir. I don't know about you, but I genuinely hope my life reflects what I say and teach. What a great statement to be able to make to those we lead, whether it's in the classroom, our families, at work, or serving in the church. Put into practice the actions you have seen in my life and heard me instruct you to do. Wow, Paul's statement shows great confidence in how he has lived his life in holy partnership with others. Paul's example in saying these words becomes a good definition of a great leader. Do what they say because they back it up with the character and quality of their lives to show it's true. Let's pray. Almighty and Most High God, please bless me with the integrity that comes when my convictions, words, and actions are consistent and righteous as I live in genuine partnership with others. In Jesus' name I ask this. Amen.
Oh, yes, it is. Amen, indeed. Phil Weir with today's verse of the day. And that's what he said in Philippians chapter 4 with the verse of 9. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen, put it into practice. And practice makes perfect. The God of peace will be definitely with you. All right. I'm going to wait for Mr. Ben Maller will be joining me in a moment to talk about the latest in the sports industry from the past few days. And I saw what you saw. The women's national championship, the South Carolina Gamecocks has defeated back on Sunday against Caitlin Clark and the Big Ten's Hawkeyes. Now we'll be waiting for the NBA set to taking place for her this summer. Also, the UConn Huskies, the men's basketball championship, not one, but two, back-to-back national championships, defeating last night by a score of 75-60. So, Ben Maller will be joining me, and I'm going to wait for him if he's there. If not, I want to tell you about what they did so far. UConn. UConn men's basketball, 75-60. That is the final score last night on a big win. That was instead for the second straight game in the history of sports. All right. Connecticut became the first Division I men's basketball championship team to win since Florida on 17 years ago, as the Huskies downed to Purdue 75-60 in the title game. So what Ben Maller has to say? Well, we're going to wait for him. Oh, there he is, Mr. Ben Maller. You're just right on time, buddy. If you have a guess, I got the link there on my message here on X. For those of you who are following me, is at Marcel Myrick 29. Oh, sure, I say no. 1 M, but 2 M's. M Myrick29 is my handle. They are the best. Okay, back to basics before Ben Maller will be joining me. Let's say this, folks. Don't lie. I'm not the ones who acting gibberish, but I'm here for you. You can't even wrap your mind around it because you just know how hard this tournament is. What a special group of people. Coaching staff, an incredible group of players. The best group of players you can possibly do it with and the UConn. It's a special place at this time of year, and they give us all the resources we need to do this, like this, in March and right here this month in April. That's from Dan Hurley. Dan Hurley, UConn men's basketball coach, last night. They have 37 wins and 3 losses. They have now won 6 national championships. Joint third in an all-time men's Division I basketball list. And those all comes back in 1999. More than any other men's team in the span, and second only during the time to the school's women's team. 10. All right. I have to give the opinion on this, folks. All right, can you see me because of the background? I was made it. Huh? Yes, I know it was made it. What an amazing win for the UConn. The UConn men's basketball team, both back-to-back winners. Jesus, Lord, have mercy. I can't believe this. What an amazing win for UConn. I'll tell you this, folks. What an amazing win for UConn yesterday. And boy, oh boy, can't believe this. Purdue. What an exciting win for those guys. And sure it was, all things considered. Alright, before I have more opinion on this, happening now, the trial for James and, let me see what the names are. James and Jennifer Crumbly have a parent's sentencing. Let's go live to Pontiac, Michigan to hear the case.
Pre-sentence report.
Whoops.
Your Honor, I have had the opportunity to review the pre-sentence investigation with Mr. Crumbly. All right, and then with regard to defendant Mrs. Crumbly,
Do you have any corrections, deletions, or additions on both the prosecutor as well as defense counsel? But you may go ahead.
Thank you. The only correction we would have, Your Honor, is that actually on the very front face sheet, it indicates that Ethan Crumbley is a co-defendant, and I would ask that he be taken off in that regard.
Well, he's not. I think probation has discussed this with probation. Ms. Wheeler, what is your suggestion with regard to the pre-sentence investigation? He clearly is not a co-defendant.
All right, we'll have that if you go stream live. Back to basketball. 4 of 5 starters of UConn's with double-digit points were led by All-American guard Toronto native Trenton Noonan. He has 20 points and 7 assists. That's what Ben Maller's Player of the Morning is. Guard Stephen Castle had 15. Guard Kemp Spencer and center Donovan Clinton each have the points of 11. Also, the National Player of the Year is Zach Edey, scored 37 and had 10 rebounds for Purdue, which finished the season of 34-5. 34-5, the first win since 2007. Now back to back. Oh, what a joy it is for the UConn. How amazing that would for the boys of All Things Considered. So, on behalf of everyone in my social community, congratulations to UConn on an amazing big time win. Now, it's going to be a busy show, but I'm going to wait for Ben Maller to join me. But I hope he's there. And no one's going to be ruling this show. And what's this? Kelso Porter's Morning Cup of Joe?
Nailed it! You nailed it, Rock. That was beautiful. Shocking, Milwaukee. Johnny Jimenez dropping a tip. I appreciate you. How do you steal a coat? Your jacket.
Oh, man. That is the gibberish person himself. Okay. We'll have the chance, but I'll lose my mind. My head is gonna be very dizzy. I was taking a shower. I ate breakfast. I will love to brush my teeth, but there is no toothpaste. But the toothbrush is there. But you never know what UConn wins, though. Big win. Let's see what the 3 times will set to take place. From the repeat to the rematch to the revenge. Ooh. Oh, I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. That was my burps. Hold on a second. I'm going to drink some water. And then I never use burps again. Can you hold a minute, please? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I feel much better now. All right. Congratulations to UConn on amazing back-to-back national championships, defeating Purdue 75-60. Next year, as a matter of fact, for 2024-25, it will be 3 straight wins of the year. And to all of you, I am deeply sorry for the burps. Burping is a wrong, serious, lying business. Ooh, whoever thought, though? for Ben Maller, but he will tell me that according to the X machine, he will I'm gonna delete that, but Mr. Mallow will be joining me next Tuesday, though. But fingers crossed for next Tuesday. I promise you that. When he's here, have a good time with him. I hope he's feeling much busy going on, though. All right, then. Let's shrink. Wait a minute. Before we go to the business and the word of the day to wrap up the show, I have to say to this. Gold School Retro NBA star Ariel DeJesus have a verified and repost. Yes, repost. Of that. Have the repost on my tweet. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Ariel. Oh, do I mention it, that commercial from Michael Jordan back in the 90s? Oh, you're going to love this. So, let's take a look.
Sometimes I dream
that he is me.
got to see it how I dream to be. Boom, 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 boom. I dream I move.
I dream I grew like Mike.
If I could be like Mike. If I could be like
What's up, Mike? I could be like Mike.
I'm not going to sing.
That's what Larry Bird's singing. He's not going to sing. Oh my. Check it out at NBA 90s on your social network feed. All right, to the business. Future for the Dow Industrial Average and other major stock indexes inch ahead as investors tried to find some market momentum. And meanwhile, Google stock rallied on the stock market after the company announced a new AI chip. It added 1% in morning action, while the S&P 500 futures were up 3% versus fair value, and tech-focused NASDAQ 100 futures were up 4% before the opening bell. And the 10-year Treasury yield ticking down to 4.38%, for the oil prices ticking up after sharp gains in recent weeks, as West Texas Intermediate futures traded around $86.50 a barrel. On Wall Street, Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500 both inch lower, while the tech-heavy NASDAQ composite rose less than 1%. A very mixed day to start off the week. More on that website, investors.com. And now, to wrap up today's mornings with Marcel and Friends, the word of the day is
Aegis.
Aegis, a formal word that refers to the power to protect, control, or support something or someone. It is often used in a phrase under the aegis of. The issue will be decided under the aegis of the international organization. So AEGIS, aegis, or aegis, aegis.
Aegis.
Aegis is today's word of the day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining Mornings with Marcel and Friends, and I hope Ben Maller will not be able to join me this morning, but he'll be back with me next Tuesday morning along with Shu and Joe, so fingers crossed. In the meantime, you have yourself a great Tuesday, and I will see you right back here next week.